Hey folks, it's Andrew from Gemba Red, and today I'm doing a quick little DIY for myself. I've got some of these UVB reptile lamps, and I'm just coming up with a little stand for them. I've been using the Sperti vitamin D lamp for about a year and a half, and it has done well to increase my vitamin D levels. And remember, we're dealing with UV light, so we are dealing with some skin risks of sunburn and eye risks of having eye damage from the UV light. So you have to make sure if you're doing any kind of DIY, or even if you're using medical grade vitamin D lamps and UV lamps, you have to protect your eyes and protect your skin and not overdose on these types of technology. So I got two of these. These are 24 watt UVB bulbs, and I got two of them. And the Sperti lamp I just checked is about 73 watts. So we're going to add like kind of a supplement, and that way I can do my front and the back at the same time. And this new UV lamp comes with a nice little enclosure here. It comes with clamps that I can mount. So I'm going to make this little stand out of some spare 2x4s, or they might be smaller than 2x4s. A little stand from leftover wood I've got, and then I'm going to mount them kind of upright, so that way they're all kind of upright like the Sperti lamp, and I can get the front and back of my torso, and that way I get a good coverage of both sides of my body. So you see it came with clamps, so all I had to do was bolt the clamps onto the makeshift stand here. Then we can insert the bulbs and light it up. So that's it. Let's light these up. And honestly, they just look like a bright white fluorescent light. You know, these are fluorescent tubes, and historically fluorescents are known for emitting UV light. But we'll try to test it out with our spectrometer, see what it says. So you can see there are a bunch of peaks down at the lower end. You know, the limit for this spectrometer is only 350, so that's the bottom end of what we can measure. So there's probably a lot more going on in those lower wavelengths that we can't exactly measure, but it does have a lot of activity down there. It seems like there's a lot of UV activity down there, but we do get obviously some peaks of blue and green and red, and so that's why we do get kind of a white spectrum out of this bulb, even though, you know, the primary purpose is to get some of that UV exposure. So hopefully that helps. You know, UV light is very important for vitamin D. You don't get that from red and near infrared light therapy, so you do want to get sunlight or safe exposure to UV and UVB. And doing something DIY seems cheap and convenient, but really it starts out as a big investment in getting the right tools and getting lumber and, you know, learning how to do this stuff. And then in the long run, it kind of pays off because you end up with a lot of tools and materials left over that you can kind of whip something together. So DIY is not always the best way to go, even though it seems that way. You could spend a lot on materials and not get a good result, or you could just buy the premium product like the Sperti and get that going.